So I want to start today by just asking you, how did you get started on your instrument? What drew you to it? What were your first experiences? Some early mentors? Just tell us about like what brought you to this.
I started playing the trombone in the seventh grade because I showed up to school a month late on the instrument choosing day, and it was the one I got to play. And so they put me on trombone, and I was like, well, okay. And it happened to be my first choice as well because I like the slide. And so I started playing. I had my band directors, Aaron Dodds and Jarrett Fuller, and then also Graydon Kramer. They were great mentors for my first 2 years when in grade 7 and 8. And then so I was just playing like normal straight trombone. I did jazz band in the 8th grade, and it wasn't a really serious thing. I was a band kid, and so I kind of like, I loved the instrument. I didn't practice that much. I just really loved doing the music part. So I've always had a kind of knack for music. I did piano lessons when I was younger, but before that, even like I would be really good at like rhythm games on like the Wii or something, you know. And so it came really naturally to me. I did the provincial honor band in the 8th grade, and that's kind of what jump started me into the practice of my instrument, is because I auditioned for an ensemble and I got in. And I was like, what? Because that had never happened before. I'd never had to do an audition. And then I got a lower chair. My band director didn't tell me that they were ranked. I just thought I was in the band. And so eventually I learned, oh, I didn't get like the best spot. And if I worked harder, I could get the best spot. And so, so that's when I finally started to actually like work on stuff. And that's when I advanced to grade 9 and I got into high school, I met kids older than me who were better than me. And then once again, I was like, oh, well, I better start working. And so that's kind of where I started. Oh, and that's when I started playing the bass trombone, is in the 9th grade, because I liked how it looked. And I was like, well, it looks cooler than the one I have. And then I actually like fell in love with it after a while. It wasn't just oh, this looks cool anymore. It was actually like, oh, I really enjoyed to play the low notes and have more dexterity on the instrument with the valves. It was really nice. So yeah, once I got to the 9th grade, I just started working harder. And then my band teacher, Megan Graham, has been a like fantastic help. In the 9th grade, I started taking lessons with Dr. Aaron Wilson at BU because I attended a master class he was at, and he offered to teach me. And I was like, well, great. So from there on out, I started taking lessons like between like once every 2 weeks to once a month. That's kind of how it's been. And now I'm in grade 12, and I've just kept going, kept practicing, and here I am, I guess. So yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that entry into bass trombone. That's so great.
Yeah.
I'm also a trombonist, and for me, it was much more like, okay, well, I got this spot in an orchestra. I'm got to figure out this instrument. I love that you were like naturally drawn to it instead of being kind of forced into it. And you also play euphonium, right? How did you get started with euphonium?
Let me think about that. One summer I was at the Doffin's a small town, like 2 hours north of Brandon. And I go out there for the summer to visit my grandparents and my dad. And I was at the band camp there, and I had gone the year before, in the year before my 9th grade. And then I went again the year before my 10th grade. And I was like I was a little too advanced for the music that they were playing. So they're like, okay, well, let's start you on a new instrument for the week, I guess. And so I picked up euphonium, and then I carried that into grade 10, where I would play it sometimes in school. And so then I guess I just kind of, after playing it for a while, I picked it up and I got pretty good at it as well. So it just became my second instrument whenever it was needed in the band.